welcome to Power Walk number 2. The topic of today is hot, just like it's hot here. I had to take off my jacket.
So we have a very good power talk with the commissioner. No, sorry, it's a power walk. So we have a very good power walk with the commissioner. From the consumer perspective, the message was that while electrification is the way forward, we need to create the enabling conditions for consumers to be part of it. That means looking at affordability, but also at making it easier for people to understand the benefits of demand-side response, and also of being part of a transition that requires everyone to play its role, including the consumers themselves. But the condition for that is obviously to give very clear price signals. It is not acceptable that if we want consumers to move to electrification, that gas is still cheaper than electricity, and foremost that the clean tech that we want consumers to endorse is accessible and affordable to everyone.
We all know that the energy transition is not a walk in the park, but it was quite refreshing that the Commissioner took us here for a power walk. I took away from the conversation that there really is a strong consensus around electrification. More and more it's really going to the top of the agenda of European policy. That's really good news. On the topic of grids, which is a critical enabler for electrification, we really see a very critical need for investments in the grid, physical investments. So build out pylons, lines, that is really going to be crucial. We need the digital piece, but we cannot ignore the physical reality, which is going to be crucial for our success. And on top of that, I think it's important to stress that if we look at the balance between transmission and distribution, is really in the local roads, if you will, that the majority of investment needs exists. That's where we connect the renewables, that's where we connect the data centers, that's where we connect heat pumps and electric cars. So we need to remember that piece of the grid that is really crucial for our success.
We had a very, very good talk with the Commissioner about how to provide more flexibility to the grid. Electrification of transport is a solution provider here. In order to well electrify transportation, we need to make sure that we have access to the grid. Right now, the charging point development is really standing behind grid access, and this can be alleviated with some regulatory measures. We also need to make sure that while we electrify, we also make connections that are smart. We make sure that the grid can communicate with the vehicles that we want to connect to it. That way we have batteries on wheels, in the sense that the grid is not only a provider of electricity, but also the batteries of cars and trucks can become providers of flexibility to the grid, so we can charge back to the grid.
All right, great talk with the Commissioner in very hot Brussels. I think everybody agrees that grid is super important, very strategic. And I would take two things from the discussion. First one is that we need to look at investment not with a 3 or 2 years perspective, but with a long-term perspective. So long outcome is very key here, and we need to bring everybody across the table. And the second issue I would say is about resiliency of the supply chain, right? We have a lot of players, of powerful players in Europe, grid players, TSOs, utilities, technology suppliers like ourselves, and we need to reform public procurement, we need to scale up grid market across Europe, and this is, I would say, the next milestone for the Commission to act to facilitate grid deployment in Europe.
From Digital Europe side, we are very interested in the digitalisation of the grid. There is a lot to be gained there. We can't afford not to. 20 to 40% we can save by making sure that we use AI and that we do the right investments. Smart metering being one, but there's many other ways that we can make these things much more efficient. We can't afford not to, so we think that we should make absolutely sure that the investment possibilities are there in a meaningful way.